as people need to embrace the love that we give. We need to embrace the compassion, the grace. And not just from the standpoint of because Jesus did it, we have to do it too. That's part of it, yes. But we as people, no matter the skin tone, no matter the race, no matter whatever. Hold on. No matter the race, the complexion, the skin tone, your gender, if you classify yourself as gay, asexual, transsexual, none of that shit. We as people that carry the same color blood, the same part of organs, the same sizes, sometimes smaller or bigger, doesn't really matter, need to come together. Like, I swear, this life make you want to off yourself sometimes. I'm not even being funny, but it's like, it's the fact that there is so much we can be thankful and gracious for, to the point we take life for granted, just like we take people for granted. And personally, for me, I've done both.
In like the last 3-4 days. I see no big reason to be outside.
I've taken people for granted. I've taken life for granted. The reason why I say that, because for years, even though all three of them are gone, but the main two, my grandmother and my dad, I held the biggest grudge in my life for them. And honestly, it's funny that after I had my boys, I finally forgave them for something that I've caused. And I asked them for forgiveness at the same time. Like 2 weeks after I gave birth to my son, I officially got enough courage to call my dad and my grandmother while I was still in the hospital to forgive them. And the reason why I say that is because, not even the reason, the main approach of it is, I had a grudge against my grandmother mainly because I had the same urge and the same pain as my brother. I wanted to live with my mom at one point in time in my life. Like, I wanted to live with my mom and my dad together. Like, I still had that dream as a kid, but I gotten older and I dealt with the trouble. I dealt with the cards I got handed. But it's like, I'm thankful I didn't live with my mom. No offense, it might seem like it's a lot to say in my perspective from coming out of my mouth, but I would be a very different person if I would have lived with my mom. I would be a very different mother, a very different sister, a auntie, a cousin, a niece, compared to living with my grandmother, my uncle, my brother, and the dogs and everybody else in the house. Living with everybody in the house compared to living with my mom, her friends, and my brothers and my sisters that was in the house at the time, I wouldn't be the woman I am today. I would probably be much worse. Or I would probably been better, but God gave me the cards I am dealt with for a reason. Just like he gives everybody a certain amount of cards that they're dealt with. We just got to pick and choose which ones we're going to keep and which one we're going to toss. And how many more we're going to need to pick up by the end of the game. for me, it's like that's the same approach I have on life. We get dealt a few cards, we drop a few along the way, we pick up new ones, we keep a few. It's a rotating cycle of life. It's pretty much the game of life and Monopoly at this point. That's the way I see it. Because, not Monopoly. Go Fish, Uno, and Game of Life. Even though I haven't played Game of Life in years. Because it's like this. When you have a match in life, you keep it, but also you let it go at the same time. What I mean by that is you keep the memory of what you have of that match, and then you just let it go physically, but keeping the memory mentally. That's how life is. You keep a good few, you toss a good few, you pick up a new set. But it's not really a competition in life, and we, as humans, mammals, whatever you want to call yourselves these days, whatever y'all want to call yourselves, I don't really give a shit. But what I can say is this, and I mean this wholeheartedly. Stop letting people dictate your life. Don't let the bad cards ruin your life, bitch. Don't let a few good apples ruin the whole bunch. Because at the end of the day, it's like this. You have a good few apples, but you want 2 bad apples to ruin the rest. What sense does that make? You're letting a few bad apples ruin the whole bunch? Yeah, a few bad apples all fall off the tree. Shoot, so does every other vegetable and fruit in the world. You're going to have a few bad ones in life. Because there's no way you can go through life having it all goody two-shoe and silver and gold. Life don't work that way. And if we did, we all be rich by now, living lavishly with no troubles. But life ain't that simple. You can be the richest person in the world and still have problems. You can be the poorest person in the world and still be humble and still have problems. Money don't make a person. It actually can't. But it's based on your mentality of what that money can do. Personally, for me, if I ever be rich, I'll become Adam Sandler in a heartbeat. Even though I am now, in a way. But it's like the same way we choose to let things dictate our lives, push us to do certain things, and all this. We don't see how much of a pain it causes everyone around us. Like when, let's say you have a winning lottery ticket and you earn money off of that and all that, then all of a sudden a few people that you know from your life come out of nowhere that you haven't talked to in years. All of a sudden they want to be in your face and all this. Ain't no point. Ain't no God-given point to do no such thing of that. And to me, it's like sooner or later, sometimes you're going to get rid of that lottery, that winning ticket, just to remind yourself of how humble you can actually be. It's like this. Life comes and goes. Trouble comes and goes. But we have to choose to understand how much of that bad part we want to keep and how much of the bad part we want to let go of. Now for me, I don't really keep a lot of bad shit, as people would say, because I have a different way of holding shit and a very good way of hiding shit. So it's not really don't know. I mean, I know this video ain't gonna make sense at first or at all because I'm rambling about different things at different personas in my life or different parts of it. But the main point I'm trying to say is love while you still can. Enjoy life while you still can. Love yourself. Love your family, regardless of who the fuck hurted you. Family, friends, whatever you want to fucking call them to your life. Still love them. Still care about them. If y'all don't want to talk, so be it. Y'all have to come to a common ground about it. Fine. But I want to say this to people that are choosing not to let go of a grudge. And I'm going to keep referencing this for a very long time. The more you hold on to a grudge, the more it's going to hurt. And I'm not saying it in a weird way or a stupid way. I'm being so dead honest with this. The more you hold on to grudges, the more that shit is going to fucking hurt. Not because it's going to but because it's the fact that holding on to a grudge don't do shit for your life. It just makes it, it's like a piggy bank. The more you fill it, the fatter, the less space it has to hold anything. That goes for coins, bills, whatever you want the fuck put in it. No matter the size, everything has a capacity. Elevators, storage rooms, houses, churches, stores, like everything has a certain capacity of when it's too full. And sometimes we maneuver things around to make it, try to make space. And that goes personally for like our bedrooms and our cars. Like when we have our rooms one way and then we add a few more things and then we have to rearrange the room just to make everything else fit. But then sooner or later it becomes too cluttered and too crowded. It's time to let some shit go. Regardless of the sentimental reason why you have it or the reason why you bought it in the first place, because it was an aesthetic or it matches your persona or it felt good for you to have in the house. Sometimes unnecessary shit ain't good to keep. And the reason I'm saying that, or I know I've said that throughout all these videos, but it's like, why do we have to keep so much hatred, so much pain, just so we can classify ourselves as human? Like, there's no way in life that we have to feel so much hate, so much pain, so much anger just to keep our lives living. Like, you have to be so miserable just to make sure that everybody else around you is that way. Nah. You can leave me by the wayside. I'd rather live alone and happy than to wonder what you're doing in my house. Yes, if anybody knows that reference, it is from Medea's Go to Jail, The Plague. I didn't say every exact word, but I said pretty much the main point of it. And for me, I'm a type of person that tends to... I don't really take things to heart unless it needs to be. And for the sake of that, I tend to be more of a structured person that can tolerate criticism, professional criticism, or any type of doubt that you may have as a person towards me based on based on the way I carry myself, based on how my characteristic shows, based on my persona, based on my attributes of life, or personally just me as a human being at the end of the day before you even add any of those aspects. And that goes for anybody, personally. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Because there's only so many things that we can do as a person, as a human. And when we bring others into our lives or we meet other people throughout our lives, we have to figure out what will we do to change them, or what do they bring that will change us. That goes for relationships, personally, I feel like. Because relationships can make or break you. Like, straight make or break you. There's no ifs, ands, or in-betweens about it. Ifs, ands, or buts about it. Relationships can literally make or break you. And if you choose to let it break you, there's nothing else that needs to be said. If you're choosing to let somebody hurt you and keep hurting you, no matter how much you love them, no matter how much you want them in your life, that shit is not worth your sanity, your time, your patience, or your purpose. Most importantly, your peace and the composure of who you are as a woman or a man. And it's very much like, here, I'm here for this and that, but I'm also here for you as a person. Like, if somebody comes into your life and they just want what you can give them, and then later down the line you meet somebody that wants to just be there, understand you, communicate with you, and take on as much as you do, oh, it ain't nothing else to say or do about that. Sometimes we tend to deal with people just so we can have someone. But forget about the fact that we already have somebody, and that person is ourselves first. Because before you get into a relationship or a connection with anybody, you're born alone. Regardless if you're a twin, regardless if it's fraternal, whatever you want to call it, we are all born alone. We all die alone. And it's not even the fact that I'm saying it in a bad manner, but it's the fact that I'm saying it out of complete peace of mind. And I'm going to continue to say it out of a complete peace of mind. So, as much as sometimes I would like not to, or the fact I wouldn't have to, it's not that easy. And I know, like I said, I know half of this don't make sense, but my main approach was for people to love one another, to embrace one another, and to fulfill each other's dreams, regardless of where it takes you. Regardless of times if you have to fill it up by yourself. Regardless if you have to manage simplicity alone. Whether if you have to do whatever. Just to be humble with yourself more than being humble with others. There ain't nothing else to it. Like, it's really not. There's nothing else that can go to that. And a lot of people will tell me, how can I have this type of mentality? Or how can I have this type of understanding with things and all that sort of shit? And it's like, it's quite easy. It's very easy for me to have this type of structure, to have this type of thinking, I guess you could say. Without even trying to understand it. So, it's very easy to manage this, and it's very easy to tolerate things. But the real thing about it is being who you really are. Like, there's nothing else more truer than that. There's nothing else more stable than knowing who you are as a person. Knowing how you can be. And anything else of that sort. Because when we tend to forget ourselves and try to put everybody else in our lives, like I said earlier, people pleasers, and we tend to leave ourselves on the back burner, it's more of a mental and a psychological battle for ourselves. But I'm not even gonna say but, even though I just did. But leaving yourself on the back burner is more of a downfall than anything you could ever fumble.